Good morning. It's 6:45 a.m. on Wednesday, and my name is Aaron Gallagher. I'm filling in for Elisha Freeman this Wednesday morning on Wednesday Wisdom. So good morning. I hope you're having a great morning so far. And today we're going to talk for just a few minutes about wisdom, as it's Wednesday Wisdom. So the Bible is made up of 66 books. 39 of those books are in the Old Testament. Now, the way I remember that is 5, 12, 5, 5, 12. And that is 5 books of law, 12 books of history, 5 books of poetry or wisdom literature, and then 5 major prophets and 12 minor prophets. Now remember, major prophets and minor prophets are really just the difference of the size of the books. They're not any less inspired, all right? So as this is Wednesday Wisdom, I was trying to figure out which book to look at, and we're going to take a brief look at one of the books of wisdom. Now those 5, like I said, are Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon. So the word wisdom is used quite a bit in the wisdom literature. Now, if you had to take a guess of those 5 books, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon, which one do you think talks about wisdom the most? Well, if you guessed Psalms, that's 25 times. Ecclesiastes is 29 times. Job is 31. But Proverbs trumps them all with using the word wisdom 72 times, so twice as many as any of the others by far. Now, Proverbs, like we said, discusses wisdom more than any other book of the Bible, and it's 31 chapters. Now, we only have 5 to 7 minutes, so we don't have time to cover the entire book, but hopefully we can get started and look at just a few things, and maybe if you're getting ready for your day, it'll get you kind of jump-started for the middle of the week. So first, let's get an outline of the book. Now, Proverbs has 31 chapters. So chapters 1 through 9 talk about the nature and blessings of wisdom and have some sayings from Solomon, instructions for his son. Chapters 10 through 29 really start the actual Proverbs, the poetry part of Solomon. And then chapters 30 and 31, chapter 30 is a proverb of Agur, not a girl, Agur, A-G-U-R. And chapter 31, the well-known Proverbs 31, is a proverb of Lemuel, the king. Now, the summary, if I had to pick a few verses that would really summarize the whole book of Proverbs, it would be in chapter 1, verses 2 through 5. And I'll read that for you really quick. The proverb of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to understand words of insight, to receive instruction in wise dealing, and righteousness, justice, and equity, to give prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the youth. Let the wise hear and increase in learning, and the one who understands obtain guidance. Now, chapter 1 really sets the stage with the intro, and then it goes right into some practical advice that I'm sure a lot of us have heard before. So I don't know if anyone when you were younger has heard this phrase from a parent or a teacher. If everyone jumped off a bridge, would you do it? I know that I heard that. I don't know if it was from my parents or from school teachers, but I heard, Aaron, if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you do it? Now, that's kind of similar to what the first half of this section talks about. In verse 10, my son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. And that goes through about the next 9 verses, encouraging us not to follow peer pressure, because a lot of times peer pressure really is a huge temptation to fit in, even if it's something we really don't want to do. Now, when I think about that phrase in this section of Proverbs, it really reminds me of a banner. I went to Bridgeport High School in Bridgeport, West Virginia, and there was a banner that hung over these double doors on the way to the lunchroom, and it said something to the effect, it's been about 10 years, 15 years now, that says, sometimes doing the right thing is hard, but it's always right. And that's really what the first part of this first chapter of Proverbs, the essence of it. Now, the second half of Proverbs is really a cool picture. From verse 20 all the way through the end of the chapter and verse 33 of chapter 1, there is this word picture of wisdom. And it's depicted as a woman crying aloud in the street. And it describes her as begging these people to turn back to God and His Word, to turn away from evil. And that ends in verse 33 of chapter 1. And it says, but whoever listens to me will dwell secure and will be at ease without dread of disaster. Now that sounds pretty good to me. I don't know about you, but listening and dwelling securely, being at ease without dread of disaster, sounds like something that I can handle and I would like to have. Now, as we finish up chapter 1, the book of Proverbs has 30 more chapters, and it's not just calling, the woman in the street is not just calling to the people only of Solomon's day, but it's also calling to each one of us. And you know what's kind of interesting? The next month we're coming up on July. Now July has 31 days and Proverbs has 31 chapters. So if you want to, on your own, July would be a perfect month to start reading about wisdom, and it might actually save you from some fireworks injuries. So if you live in the Raleigh area, we have Bible study tonight, Wednesday night, at 7 p.m. at 911 Behringer Drive in Raleigh. On Sundays, we actually have Bible class Sunday morning at 9:30, and we have a Sunday worship service that starts at 10:30. So thanks for tuning into Wednesday Wisdom. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and as always, we would love to see you at the Raleigh Church of Christ. Thanks. Have a great day.